YoungstaCPT. I'm coming from the West Coast. Yeah, we got the best high, good dope. We be saying na 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 na. It's the one and only CPT. Now where I come from is not the puzzle or the.
In terms of what I've done with Reebok, I mean, Reebok has lasted way longer than most brands have, you know, coming from the early days. And I think that longevity shows us where they'll go in the future, the direction of it. And this is also kind of like a rebirth of Reebok.
Through all of it, he's been super authentic, and he remains authentic. He remains true to where he's come from. He draws inspiration from people like his grandfather, people like his mom, was actually quite influential in, you know, some of the elements in the sneaker we're doing together. And he just remains grounded and humble in everything that he does. He still, to this day, rolls around in his BMX. To the block is where his retail store is. He still shows up on his BMX, and I thought it was a urban legend.
Jacobs? Yeah, let me put it up. Check. Yes, yeah. It's the old things that you miss, yeah.
Say CPT, say CPT, say cops that naya, say cops that naya, say 021, say 021, say YGen, hold up, way, all the niggas who be thinking we soft, we don't, way, Sin City 7800, hold up, way, all the niggas who be thinking we soft, we don't, way, Sin City 7800,
I wouldn't say you become totally numb to it, but as an underdog, when you've been an underdog as long as I've been an underdog, you learn to adapt to any climate, to any situation, to any time almost, you know. And the way things are changing, you can see even through my music that I've stayed more or less true to the message, but I've also found ways to fit in to what's going on without losing the essence of how I started it, you know.
We may not always be everybody's jam or cup of tea, but it's that attitude of really changing it up, and you know, when some are zigging, we zagging, and that's always just the way we've operated. And that's and I think that's also why the partnership with YoungstaCPT makes a lot of sense, because in many ways he's that challenger in his space, and somebody who's always trying to push the boundaries, not fit into a box, and be different to get the cut through, you know.
Can't be a challenger without ruffling some feathers.
Yeah, exactly.
I think even going back to like disruptiveness, like how much are they gonna shake the world? I mean, again, social media is super important. So how much are they gonna make an impact on not only like the brand but themselves?
You have to work with the reality of knowing that you're not always gonna get a pat on the back just because you turned in your work on time. You can't applaud a fish for swimming. That's what it was meant to do, you know. So we are all put on this earth to stake our claim. A little piece of it is yours, but it's not going to be given to you easily.
I think even for Youngsta, I think hearing his story and seeing like, okay, he came from this area and how did he move up, you know, and he showed how he moved up, and now he's here working with us. So I think having that grit really brings you to another space where, again, you believe in yourself and now other people believe in you as well.
Sometimes you can cheat the clock, you can, but eventually it will show. At some point in your life, there's a step that you skipped that is gonna come up in your future, right? And because you didn't prepare for it in the past, you're gonna be unprepared for it when it happens. And I feel like I've done so many things, right? Full shows, empty shows, no crowd, big crowd, large stage, broken stage, best mic, cuck mic. I did every sort of version of this rap thing that I could already think of. It doesn't scare me, right? So in many ways, it's good to be put through the machine. It's good to be taught what it's like to not have the easy way out, you know? And we shouldn't always shy away from that, as hard as it is. But like I say, it can only be with passion. If you love something enough, the pain don't hurt.
We're just a brand that, you know, we gotta, as in the sports world, you gotta bop and move. If you keep going, you see if something's working, and if it works, see it through. And if not, be okay with that and know that you have to go down the next path.
This is what perseverance looks like. This is what hard work looks like. 10,000 hours looks like me. You know? And the underdog may not always get his reward, but eventually he gets a bone. You know? And sometimes it feels better when you're the one that dug it up yourself.
I think the way that Reebok has always stood out is through the partnerships we signed. We talked about like Allen Iverson and Shaq and like what they meant, not just on the court, but off the court as well, and kind of really brought a different dimension to sport like in their own moment. And then also a product design too. Like you look at models like the Insta Pump Theory, the Classic Leather, the Club C, they're all very much of an era, but very much themselves at the same time.
There wasn't really a set plan on, you know, what model we're going to pick, what we wanted to achieve through the collaboration.
Reebok is kind of the originator for a lot of things. I think we even go back to the archive room and see stuff that they did way before any other brand has. So I think sometimes it's not even borrowing. I think it's just like, oh, can we redo what we already did?
For me, this is what it feels like probably for a kid in a candy store, literally. You know what I mean? You get into ask questions about the candy. So how did you make that candy? What does that candy taste like? What was the inspiration when you did that one? You know what I mean?
All the flavors.
And I can see that. And I can see that.
Be a little bit careful.
This is the holy grail. This is the holy grail
So-
for Reebok. Shout out to John Cena one time. I'm not sure if you guys did that purposefully. I don't know if that was a purposeful thing when John Cena used to pump up the...
on
the
WWE.
tongue
Oh, yeah.
Before he used to do his shit.
Yeah. There's a chamber inside of the shoe, and air would go through those chambers. It's hidden, and it would create a custom fit, man. It's all about that like personalized like fit. This is what launched the pump revolution, man. Before we get to John Cena and the popularity of the pump, it kind of, this launched in '89, the pump technology, but it really, really takes off with D Brown in the '91 NBA Slam Dunk Contest. He won the dunk contest that year. This is the Pump Omni Zone 2. Why don't you hold this one here? It's a size 22. I'm sure you can guess. There's only a few people on this planet who could fit in.
So we see if it's if I can do it till the fucking elbow, it's quite embarrassing, you know what I mean?
Diagnosis.
Just on the eye, just to pull this off. Like there's a lot of people that will also mention Reebok from the 90s, and this always comes up. And last but not least, my personal favorite. What about
this OG, man?
Hey,
How
my
often
man.
you get to hold an OG question from 1996?
Not at all, sir. Not at all. This is the first time I've ever held one this old. The reason I did it, like I said, we didn't get the basketball game, so I didn't know who I was looking at most of the time. I was just looking at the fit. You know what I'm saying? So it's very important to me, like when I do my own one, that I have that same vibe translates to the next person when they see it. You're like, oh shit, this is YoungstaCPT's shoe. Oh, this is the guy from Cape Town shoe. You know what I mean? Like maybe they don't wear Reebok until I make that shoe. Because Iverson is the one that made me want to wear Reebok. John Cena was the one that made me want to wear the pump. You know, it's always attached to an individual, is what I'm trying to say. You know, so hopefully I managed to have the same impact with mine as these gentlemen did over here. You know. What's behind these doors here, gentlemen? When making the shoe, I took a lot of advice and I drew inspiration from my childhood growing up of sneakers, but also being in the Reebok design rooms, in the showrooms, looking at the other silhouettes.
Don't tell Young, but I wasn't actually a fan.